know it's No Ideas Original.
Welcome to the No Ideas Original podcast featuring Shannon, Mr. Rob, and Ken. What's up, y'all?
What up? It's popping with y'all brothers.
Episode 205. It's been so long since I turned my camera on. I went to turn my camera on and the whole thing reset back to like factory settings where I had to put the date and all this stuff in or whatever. You know,
the camera got mad at you, son. It's like, you ain't messing with me, bro.
In true fashion, I didn't enter any of that stuff. I just skipped around till I got to enter, and then how you call it, so the camera could work. But I'm like, damn, it's been that long since we did an episode. It feel like maybe 3 weeks.
Yeah,
maybe 2 weeks.
Yeah, maybe like 2 or 3 weeks. Not super long, but I guess in my camera it's been too long, right? So that's that's a cue for the camera that we need to be back in front of the camera a little bit more frequently. What's up with y'all? How y'all doing?
Oh, man,
I'm good, bro.
Going through this allergy stuff, but other than that,
yeah, you gotta take care of that, bro. Anybody out there that's dealing with that allergies, man, take care of that. For real. Me on this end, I've been all right. Surgery went well. Got the shit cut off my arm.
For you,
nice. So recovery was pretty simple. Just couldn't lift anything, too heavy. And now I get back on. I can do some push-ups now. And work out a little bit, son. Because I was concerned about it. You know what I mean, lifting weights and that type of thing because of how very thin the skin was because they had to overlap and put staples, that type of thing. But
yeah.
I think I'm back in action right now.
How long was the surgery?
Surgery was about an hour and change.
Okay.
Very super simple. They put me in full. I was out cold, and they showed me where it was and what they removed. There is a piece or two that's still in there, but they told me not to worry about it. You know what I mean? My arteries are not affected. I can feel the blood flow back through my arm. So
nice. Yo, it's Rob. Rob, you've been subjected to so many surgeries. You're like, it's a simple surgery.
I'm talking about it like it's just like going to the store now, man. And this is the last one. And I had put this one off for a minute, about 2 or 3 years. But when he seen it, he was like, bro, if you get punctured, you're out of here. So I was like, all right, you know what? I'll go under the knife for the last time. And I'm glad I did. So
what's the prognosis? When can you start working out?
Well, they already got the staples out. It's healed. This looks very well. I didn't even know they use glue on me. They gluing people back together nowadays. All the staples out, but they got these steri strips on here for just small precaution. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna, use some bio oil and some vitamin E to get the scar down a little bit. And because I am working on getting the car, once I get that, I'll be back in the gym real soon. I'll tell you that.
Okay, all right. Rob about to bust out with a summer body.
It was crazy, right? Because now I'm down here. This ain't hoodie weather down here. This is not up top, bro. Everything is t-shirts. So I had to really get on my t-shirt game and start just t-shirt shopping. Like, wow, so I gotta get my t-shirt shop game up. So I had to switch up the wardrobe just a little bit, man.
Yeah, that's what's up. What's up with you, Kanata?
Oh man, I'm good. Just this allergy stuff, man, regular stuff. I was gonna say, I see it's right now. We getting some good weather with him, so you moving around like it's mid 70s, 80s or something.
How about that? Good stuff.
Yeah, that's definitely working out well.
Yeah, the weather is good here too, but I think after today it's supposed to rain for like the next 6 or 7 days. Maybe that should be helpful for the pollen though, at least.
Yeah.
Too many male trees, man. That means we need more female trees out there, more fruit trees.
Yo, did y'all see Sinners?
Yeah.
At first, it didn't grasp me at first. I'm like, what the hell is all this? But I seen the parallel and the comparisons or whatever. But once I understood it and I started hearing more little decodings about it, I was like, right now I get the part.
I was happy for him. I think he got one of the best deals you ever seen as far as a director.
I heard in 25 years he has like full ownership of the film or something like that, right?
Yeah, he's getting part of the gross now too. Like the ticket sale, he's getting part of the gross.
Good for him. Man, let's get right into it though. I know you guys watched the NFL draft.
Some of it.
I think you know what? the casual person who has interest in football probably watched it more than the hardcore fans. Like I think as a result of what happened with Shedeur Sanders, it brought a lot of eyes and attention to it to people who may not necessarily be NFL fanatics, which is crazy because the NFL base is already extremely large, you know,
Right.
and NFL don't have a problem attracting a viewer. But for those that don't know, Shedeur Sanders slipped from potentially being a first round pick to end up getting drafted in the 5th round.
144
from day 1 to what, day 3? Day 3,
Yeah.
he got day 3,
Day
he ended up
3.
getting drafted on. And since he went from round 1 to round 5, there's been a lot of speculation as to why his draft stock slipped, you know. So people are talking about how he conducted himself in the pre-draft interviews. People are talking about comments that he previously made, you know, when he was in college. People are talking about his pops, Deion Sanders' involvement. And then there's also the other part where people are saying that this was the NFL humbling him, you know. So I'm wondering from you guys' perspective, do you think that this was about his performance, who he is as a player? Do you think this was about the NFL humbling him in a sense of collusion to ensure that he doesn't make it into the NFL? Or this is just that people just don't like him? What do you think, Rob?
I think it's a combination of a few things. I mean, from a performance standpoint, listen, the kid is a great kid and he's very talented. I thought he should have been top 5, if not top 3. But he didn't go. But what comes along with being a professional is your image. And if you don't have the image that goes along with the package, like, you know, it doesn't match. And I mean, he's a product of his environment. He's raised by someone who is very confident. We know Prime. We've seen Prime his entire career, and Prime has never been short of holding his tongue. He's not, and I'm sure he raised his boys to do the same. And you can kind of see the same cadence in Shedeur as well, being very confident and being sure of himself, but also being talented too. So we see it all the time, man, whether it's in the NBA or the NFL, or any other league or outside the league. When you carry this kind of image about you, people kind of tend to stand off. Now, the Giants at number 3, they ain't never picking no black quarterbacks. So I was like,
yeah, I heard everything about that on TV, on the news. Yeah, the radio was lighting up about the Giants.
I knew they wasn't going to pick him, but for them to trade up and get this dart at 25, I was like, damn, he really doubled down and not really picking this guy. I mean, him being drafted at Cleveland might be sometimes humble is good, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? Because it makes you reflect on why or what's going on, or whatever you have expected. Sometimes the unexpected happens, and here we are from a potential first round pick, maybe top 3, to 144th pick. That's crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it couldn't have been talent, because the kid is accurate. If you watch his tape, he's a great athlete, quarterback. I mean, the list goes on. So his father, he is who he is, bro. And I think that that carried some weight with it, because he's going to be mentored by his father through this part too. Is his father, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think he'll always be there. But
he's right now. He's going to make more money, have made more money with his NIL deal in college than he is if he actually gets a guaranteed contract.
Well, bro, his jersey's the number 1 jersey sold already.
Yeah.
He's got like 11 endorsements though, so
the thing is, I mean, how you call it? It puts Cleveland in a position also, because, you know, with him being drafted as their third, maybe what do they got? Like maybe even 4 or 5.
5 quarterbacks.
5 quarterbacks or whatever. Like, you know, typically when people get drafted as the 5th quarterback, they don't make the team as a quarterback. If they're good, they may make it as a special teams type player or one of those gadget type players. But I'm gonna say this about Shedeur, like from a talent perspective, I remember watching, like he got busy when how you call it, when he was at Jackson State, you know, but that's not a Division I school. You know, then when he went to Colorado, his first season in Colorado, he looked good also. But one of the things that I observed about him, and I didn't put it on him, I put it on their offensive line. I was like, man, he takes a lot of sacks. He gets sacked a lot. He holds on to the ball a lot. So seeing his progression from year 1 to year 2, when I seen him in year 2, the sacks were down a little. And I was like, all right, maybe the offensive line, got a little bit better. But what I did notice is I'm like, as a quarterback, he relied heavily on people being really wide open to throw the ball to. So you look at him versus a Cam Ward. Like I definitely thought he was talented, but I didn't have him as a high pick or first. Probably I don't know if I had him necessarily as a first round, a first round quarterback pick. And the reason why also, sadly, this doesn't have anything to do with him. More so, I think this has to do with what our expectations are for the prototype for a black quarterback, right? So for a black quarterback, the intangibles that we look at is athleticism. Like we want them to be fleet of foot and be able to throw the ball. When Lamar Jackson slipped also way down. And Lamar Jackson, though, what Lamar Jackson had going is he started off, his accuracy wasn't that great. I'll still say his accuracy isn't the greatest, but it's improved. He has an arm, but he has scramble ability. And in Shedeur, I haven't seen him have like that scramble ability. And to me, when you don't have scramble ability, you gotta be one hell of a pocket passer with like anticipation skills or whatever. So I could see him slipping from the first round. Now, some of the other people that they picked in front of him was a complete insult. I don't know about I don't know about the part around. I'm not saying that the NFL didn't collude around them. I'm not in support of humbling a person because you feel that they have confidence or you believe that they're leading by ego. Football is competitive in nature, or any sport is competitive in nature, and anytime you compete, you're supposed to go out thinking that you're the best. You have to go out with the mentality that you have the best. If you don't, then you've lost already out the gate. There's been a lot of conversation. I don't know if you guys picked up though recently about like black fathers' contribution to getting a kid in sports. Like, so LeBron got heat for Bronny. We all know that there are other players better than Bronny that potentially got in the league, but that LeBron helped them get in the league, which anybody would do for their son. LeVar Ball took heat, but got two of his kids to the NBA. Dion with this now, to me, it just seems like the narrative for the black dad and his involvement with his kid going into these leagues is a little different than the narrative for a white dad and his involvement going into the league. Like there was some talk about Caitlin Clark's dad, but never to the magnitude of his involvement, as much as of a support he was for Caitlin Clark. Now, he certainly didn't have the boisterous and loud personality that these other people have, and he wasn't in a public eye like that, but he was a contributor and a driving force in her life that helped her, get to another level. And then you look at like even some of the other people, like when has anybody ever said anything about Archie Manning?
I mean,
negative.
I think so. No, some of that stuff is true. It goes through that, and I think I heard a report today that there were owners that ordered their GMs and presidents to just completely remove him from their draft board altogether.
Yeah. And why do you think that? Why do you think that is? Yeah,
I can tell you, it's real easy with the situation. Was talent wise, he wasn't a top 5 player. He probably was a first rounder, but a lot of times with quarterbacks, it comes down to need. Like some dumb teams, like the Steelers, what they did is just foolish. The Aaron Rodgers wait period.
That was the perfect pick for him. That was the perfect team for him.
So there's other teams that just did that, but the problem they had there is like I understand the whole humbling part. Yeah, it was humbling, but sometimes you got to be smart about it. And I point to his brother in the middle of the draft, where his brother said, "I'm gonna have to fire my dad and hire an agent." His brother came to the realization that his dad could not negotiate a deal for him. Any other agent out there would have told Shedeur Sanders that when he got in a goddamn meeting to close his mouth, shake his head up, tell him, listen, you excited about being here and run the system. Once you get there and get the check, you can say whatever you want because they can't take the money away from you. You went in there talking about you a culture. You didn't see you seen the interviews. I'm a culture changer. Anywhere I go, it gets better.
Yeah.
Listen, as much as people don't want to believe it, we're the players, not the owners.
Right.
So when you out there on the field, they don't want to deal with that. Right? Even now, I'm telling you right now, there's people petitioning that want the Cleveland Browns on Hard Knocks.
Oh,
What is that
absolutely.
going
You know they do. You
because he
know
sells
they do,
tickets.
bro.
He's definitely, he's gonna sell tickets. He's
Yeah,
he's
now
definitely,
here's another one. I got a better one for you. You don't think that he's gonna have his camera crew and all this stuff around the Browns organization filming his rise or whatever? Somebody's Netflix or someplace not gonna want to film his rise or ascension or his fall. He already got deals and stuff where people want to record his life, like what's happened in the process. Now that this happened to him, they're gonna monetize this too.
yeah.
And it's one of those things where it's not to his fault. I mean, he's just doing what he thought was right, and his dad was co-signing him on it or something. But even in that, they went back and showed things where Deion said he didn't want him to play on certain teams.
Yeah.
I think he mentioned Cleveland. And the
Yeah,
funniest thing is Cleveland spent a lot of time working with him, and he went into Cleveland and stayed there for some time.
So the thing is though, so all right, so even in him mentioning the places where he didn't want him to go, like I remember Archie Manning with the stuff with Eli, like he ain't going no San Diego or whatever.
Yeah. It got traded to the Giants after that.
The difference is that to some extent you could take that as father's love, because you never once heard Eli say a word. Eli didn't say one word that whole time. You heard his father talking. This guy was saying all types of stuff. And I don't get me wrong, I don't agree with it at all. I actually seen something that was funny that I like what KFC said. You see that thing where KFC said it took Colonel Sanders 1,009 times to get the record recipe. Same thing for other Sanders. So he's got people that support him. He even had the president saying it was crazy that he was still on the board. Yeah. So he's got people to support him. Now I think the best part of this, right? If I was him, what I would have wanted to happen is I would have wanted to not get drafted.
Yeah.
So that he could sign anywhere. So now Cleveland, they kind of got a sweet deal here, because what's going to happen? They didn't pick up that dude Kenny Pickett's option, so they know what's happening to him next year.
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson, they really don't want him there. They got to pay him the money, but he's out. And Joe Flacco's there with him. He was running around getting a check wherever he can. So it really comes down to Gabriel and Sanders, who they're going to be focused on.
Yeah.
Now, the guy that should be upset about this is Gabriel.
Right. Yeah. Now the pressure's going to be on him.
Yeah, he got drafted ahead of him and paid more. And believe me, I wouldn't be surprised if they wanted to see Shedeur win that job.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I think that like in terms of his ability, I could see him. I thought the Steelers would have been a good fit for him, and him being developed under Mike Tomlin. And Mike Tomlin is such the opposite of well, I mean, I can't really speak to what Deion's coaching decorum is, because most of the time I see Deion, he kind of give me like Mark Jackson type vibes. Yeah, the dude like Mike Tomlin is like an X and O type of dude that will tell a player like, yo, I remember in the playoffs where he told like one of the players like, shut up, don't say nothing, or he's one of those dudes who's like very hands-on and active and vocal and respected. And I think that it may have been a case where Shedeur Sanders and Deion Sanders maybe overestimated his ability and what he actually, could do. Because I'm gonna say this: like, you could have ego, you could be obnoxious, you could be all these things, but if the talent matches it, then I feel like a lot of times that they'll be willing to look past it.
Yeah, they do it all the time.
Play a comparison for you of a player that people forgot all about. You see Geno Smith running around all over the place.
How about that?
Yeah, nah.
Geno Smith got drafted in the second round or whatever, and he doesn't run around, and all Geno Smith thing is being accurate. The one thing they could knock Shedeur on was being accurate. So if he can go out there and he could limit that sacks and throw the ball accurately, Geno Smith is making hundreds of millions of dollars and been around for several years.
Yeah. Well, I think Geno Smith's career kind of got revived too. Like he picked the right place to go, but he is a similar type quarterback. And if you look at a dude like a Brock Purdy as well, like those are pocket passer type dudes, that I could see them. I could see him actually becoming something like right out the gate to start immediately. Like, I think he would need like guidance, and he'll get a better offensive line in the pros than what he had in college. Absolutely. But him getting drafted, I was happy to see him get drafted because I felt like it was symbolic, and it really meant something, behind if the story snowballed and became something much bigger, than what it was. And that's what I mean. Like, you had the casual eyes on it because that narrative was out there around, all right, this is a dude that's potentially getting blackballed because Deion is his pops or whatever. Like, I really think that we got to stop eviscerating black fathers for their advocacy and over involvement in their kid's life. Like, I mean,
doesn't that happen every day?
Like, huh? What you said?
Doesn't that happen every day in corporate America?
Well, that and the other thing I was gonna say, Kenyatta, you coach youth sports before. I'm sure you've seen black fathers that was overly invested in their kids.
They fully invested. They believe their
job. Look at John Moran's daddy.
At a point, look at Therese Halliburton's father.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
I think what happens is, like, sometimes you actually, like, I could tell you at one point we had instituted a rule where it was one of those things where it was like, listen, before you start trying to say what you say, take 24 hours and think about it.
How about that?
Take a 24-hour rule and think about it, because a lot of times you end up having people that, like, I tell people all the time, like, a lot of times when you get the game, like, people like, oh, he did this or a kid did that. Like, you don't learn how to play during the game. Right. And as a coach, you only have limited time around practice, so you have to do some work or development on your own to get there, so that when you get there, you're able to do certain things. Like, I will say this, even like looking at the Shedeur thing, the one thing that he'll have over a lot of these quarterbacks is that he has access to professional quarterbacks and different people that these guys never had access to. Like, this is a guy that could pick Tom Brady up. Tom Brady will tell him what's right or whatever. So he's got access, and he'll be able to deal with it, because wasn't Tom Brady Mr. Irrelevant?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was like a 6. Him, Brock Purdy too.
Yeah. So
now Brock Purdy about to be the highest paid quarterback all time.
That's exactly what I said to myself. Is this another Brady catch?
Did you hear that they actually played it now? The conversation on the phone with the Browns with the guy I forget his name, McConnell, the guy from the Browns, like, listen, you got to put all of that stuff behind you. Listen, you got drafted, you here, go out there, work hard, do your best, and show people and prove to all the people that passed up on you why they were wrong. That's what the Browns GM said.
Now, I agree. One thing I haven't heard about him, which I appreciate, is usually, like with a lot of black quarterbacks too, they try to allude to them not having the cerebral.
Yeah, they didn't say that.
I haven't heard that stigma about him. Like everything got about like arrogance and Deion involvement.
Not his performance. He's pretty accurate. He's sound in the pocket. He doesn't mind taking the hit. Listen, you want that type of guy. Of course, we expect black quarterbacks to be more mobile. But he has no problem with standing there and driving the ball a couple of yards, man. So,
I mean,
you know what's crazy about it though? Like, staying in the pocket. Not to say that in college they aren't big players, but staying in the pocket in college versus the NFL, because it's not like he's a big dude either. He's probably, I think, measurables. That's the other thing that was on him about, was that he's like 5'10". He's like Russell Wilson, 5'10", 205 or 212 or something. Like, he's not like he's a big guy, you know. So that's another thing that I think people are concerned about, like the constantly taking sacks. But nonetheless, like, you got to give him credit. You know, his story is going to transcend beyond the everyday NFL fan. And I think that a lot of people, as many people who may be hating on him, a lot of people are rooting for him and pulling for him and want to see him do well. And like I said, to me, it was very symbolic and emblematic to see the Browns actually draft him.
Yeah. You know, I think that was celebrated that he got drafted. Like, even they were having debates at the table at the draft. Like, they disagree with each other. Mel Kiper and the other guys disagreed about what was going on, because I think Mel Kiper was like, this is definitely a concerted effort against him.
Yeah. So from an NFL, a new NFL addition, to a former NFL player, let's talk about Shannon Sharpe. Admittedly, I haven't really followed this story as close in detail as other stories. So I did some research, and I'm going to read to you guys like the specifics of the allegations with this dude. So for Shannon Sharpe,
the shakedown and Club Shay Shay
was the first to report that Shannon Sharpe was being sued by a woman under the name Jane Doe pseudonym in Nevada. The lawsuit states that Sharpe brutally assaulted her several times at the end of 2024. In the beginning of 2025, TMZ reported that he's now being sued for $50 million. A 13-page civil complaint in Nevada state court alleges that Sharp met a woman in 2023 at a gym in Los Angeles when she was 20 years old and he was in his 50s. Sharp allegedly began to pursue her relentlessly through calls, texts, and inviting her to his home. The woman who filed the lawsuit said that her and Sharp were eventually in a consensual relationship, but the former football star was very quote unquote controlling. He demanded complete control over her time and her body. Her attorney, Tony Busby, wrote in the suit. Tony Busby is her. Just to add context to this, Tony Busby is the dude that Jay-Z just washed up in court. Tony Busby actually won several lawsuits against Deshaun Watson for his hand job allegations. Tony Busby is just viewed as being sort of like an ambulance chaser dude, but that's attorney. The anonymous woman claimed that during one argument, a firearm was visible in the room, and when Sharp noticed her sharing her phone's location with friends, he grabbed her by the neck and told her, "If you ever do that again, I'll fucking kill you." The lawsuit also states that Sharp moved in with the woman in Nevada in the summer of 2024, and that he allegedly raped her after she tried to end the relationship due to him being on Instagram Live having a relationship.
He moved in with her.
Yeah, that's insane.
He moved to Nevada, but she's talking about that she ended it after. Remember, he was on tape talking about Michelle.
Yeah.
Miraculously went live or whatever. So the crazy thing about all this is that they're saying that Shannon Sharp is saying that he's innocent, but Shannon Sharp also supposedly offered this lady a $10 million settlement prior to her filing the lawsuit. So I'm just wondering from you guys' perspective, what do you say about this? Like, will Shannon Sharp be canceled? And I don't even know. Like, yo, he getting honestly, he's getting more flack on social media from the age difference than he is about the allegation of him sexually abusing somebody. Most of the commentary that I hear is about like he's in his 50s, what he was doing.
Yeah, she's her age. Yeah.
Bro, all the women you can have. I mean, I don't know, man. I think they sent the MI6 agent to see if he would bite, and he did. And man, the shakedown and Club Shay Shay. This is my thing. Why does everybody want to tape? Everyone is taping and recording themselves. What type of horny porn shit is people on today?
He tried to say that that's what they do.
And he says that you're only going to show 30 minutes of the tape. Show the whole tape.
Show the whole tape. Yeah, I heard that. I was gonna say.
Why is there a tape? What are we doing here with tape?
Then he said he played rough with the choking and all the rest of that stuff.
Yeah,
he's taking out of context.
Yeah, and I didn't like how he implicated Jay-Z in there. This is the same guy that tried to take down Jay-Z. Come on, Shay Shay, what you doing, bro? Stop leaving these young girls alone. You know, for what it's worth, you got money, you're a successful guy, but you like chasing these young girls. Did Monique tell him on his show, yo, you need a good old country woman to rub your feet and cook you collard greens and take care of you. You chasing these young birds around.
The thing that's crazy too is that I remember maybe last year or something, wasn't they questioning whether he was with him, whether he was gay or not a couple of years ago?
Yeah, because how he stepped out of the car looking real flamey.
During that time, he's managed to have somehow an accidental video or live stream and managed to have an abusive relationship, possible rape or whatever. One thing that gets me too is that in these abusive relationships and stuff, whatever happened to people actually wanting justice? Because if he was really that bad a person doing this crazy stuff,
it's not a criminal
why
case?
does money come up first? You monetize your pain or something. That's the first thing that comes to mind.
Yeah, why is there not a criminal case? I thought about that too. When I first heard about it, I guess the reason why I didn't really research it or look into it is because I felt like I was like, all right, Shannon Sharp, like what you said, he had the allegations over him about his sexuality. So in my mind, I'm like, maybe this is another publicity stunt that he using to try to, to hide that, that he potentially may be a gay male. That's what I thought it was at first. But then after I started hearing more about it, and I heard some other woman came out, and I heard he was trying to pay. Like, I think once you get into the realm of offer and pay, it's
money.
Then it kind of makes you look. It's gonna be a tough sell that you didn't do it. But I do understand that a lot of lawyers or attorneys advise people to pay rather than litigate, because they'd be like, all right, you got to pay attorney fees and then you got to pay whatever. Yeah. So maybe he figured like $10 million. would make this go away. Or maybe there's a smoking gun where there's something really there that you would offer, because $10 million is a lot of money.
I was gonna say your first offer should have been jumped to 10. Like he jumped to 10 million out the gate. He should have said
that's what I'm saying. He should have said 10,000 before he said 10 million.
I mean, 10 million. You think about it. If I'm on the other side of it and you offer 10 million, I'm like, I can get more if you're gonna just throw 10 million out as the first thing. 10 million.
And that's why Tony Busby is on the case. Like, if I was her, I would have found me a more reputable attorney than Tony Busby. Like right now, he's
that's
like,
gonna hurt her, that dude himself.
You say chase the ambulances.
Yeah, he's gonna be on trial. Tony Busby's gonna be on trial.
You know who he is to me? He's the male version of Gloria. What's her name? Gloria Aldridge or whatever. You know, like anytime one of the for all of the women who came forward with the Survivors Act thing, they all hired her. And anytime it's like some sort of sexual harassment case or something like that, I think her name is Gloria Allred or something. Like everybody contacts her, and she's like on everything. She's like the number one go-to person. And now Tony Busby is for the freaky men. He's like the attorney that they contact.
I wonder if those ladies with the kicker from Baltimore is gonna hire Tony Busby.
That's interesting because did Baltimore the Ravens didn't cut him?
They drafted a kicker too.
Yeah, I know. They're probably thinking about it. Tucker, you talking about, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's with hand job fetish.
Yeah, how did you get caught out there after the Deshaun Watson thing? Get caught out there for the same exact thing? I'm like, this dude is crazy. God. The same thing.
These guys are all freaky creeps, man. I'll make this stuff up. But he had to step away from. He had to step away from ESPN. Am I correct?
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, he said he said that he was stepping away, but I'm sure ESPN, Disney, and ABC
they lightly pushed him.
Yeah. Now here's the other thing that's in the air out there. Like people are saying that he was about to be offered like some major podcast deal for like $100 million or something crazy like that. So now people are speculating that this is because he was going to get the podcast deal.
They sent the agents to him, son.
They said your fiscal earnings. You can't have that a public record.
Paid.
Shay got to stay out of OnlyFans, man. Leave them little girls alone, bro. Stay out of this. Stop messing with them little girls, B.
You better hope he make it through this one, because
this ain't gonna be easy.
No, it's not gonna be easy. Like he might have to up that. Now that he offered 10, he might have to see if they'll work somewhere at the 20 level or something just to get out of this.
Do you think he's going to come out of this unscathed? Like, do you think Club Shay is going to continue to be?
You know what? I think so. I think if he doesn't have to pay the full $50 million verdict, anything less than that, he's going to come out clean, because you got the Busby guy, you got her running around. I'm sure that they got some. I'm sure right now they digging up where she was dating some other rich dude or athlete or something like that. Her name's gonna get ran through the mud, so she better have been. She gonna show up in that.
She's a Jane Doe. Her name ain't even out in the public.
Yeah, she better be
out in the public. He put it out.
He did. What do you call her?
He ended up giving her real name. He put it out. Like he outed everything. Outed her.
The sad thing about it is that, regardless of what her situation is, she's about to get ran through the mud. So
yeah, I mean, well, how much mud is there for her to get ran through? She was like 19 years old.
You never know with all this other crazy stuff, man. Like they could go through and check her whole history, start talking to people in high school, all types of crazy stuff.
Yeah, that'd be wild. She was like,
but they did that. Remember, they did that in the Kobe case with the girl. They started talking to like her partners
in Colorado.
Yeah, it's talking about everything in her whole life. So
yeah,
whatever happened with her is gonna be exposed. So it's unfortunate.
Yeah, it's bugged though that like, I mean, I don't know if he did it or not, but it's bugged that your defense is to discredit the person.
Oh yeah, that's basically they got a video, so I don't know what he could say. They're gonna pop in the tape or pop the video, and then he can be like, "Yeah, that ain't me. I agree to that."
Do you think that?
You think can't threaten to choke nobody in a lawsuit? Like he threatened to choke her or something.
But if he does settle a civil case for sexual assault, do you think that ESPN has him back, and you think the sponsors for his podcast and everything, you think they'll still be interested in working with him?
You know what? I think they might, because if you look at like some of the entertainment level of the people they have on TV now, like it's about the entertainment. Like unless he's convicted with him, he could actually sue them and say that they fired him wrongfully or wrongful termination or whatever. So realistically, unless they find him guilty, it's going to be hard. ESPN may phase him out through time, or cut him down on some stuff, but they can't just fire him right afterwards because he could easily say they fired him.
I thought you was about
Paul Pierce. You heard about the Paul Pierce thing, right?
Yeah, I remember that. You know what I thought you was about to say at first? I thought you was about to say, like, look at our president.
Oh no, dude! That dude, he doubled down on.
I thought you were about to say,
doubled down on.
Look it up.
Maybe Shay could get him on there. He'd be like, I don't believe this was the case. He was supporting Shador. If Shay could get him to put a good word in.
He said that's why Shador got drafted, because
this might go away if he put a good word in. Like, listen, y'all need to leave my man Shay alone. All of a sudden, everything gets unraveled and done.
Yeah. I don't think they're gonna cancel him, man. He knows how to draw a crowd for some reason.
Yeah, he's entertaining.
Great interviews. He's entertaining. And, they may phase him out off a first take type of thing, or with Stephen A or something like that. But he'll make guest appearances here and there. He'll keep Club Shay. He'll have more provocative guests. You know what I mean? And
isn't it ironic that he stirred up so much crap over probably like the last year and a half, 2 years, with like all these now you the focal point.
You know what you got to see right now? Check. Let's see what's in the next Cat Williams special.
Oh God. I mean, I didn't look at shit. I don't watch Club Shay enough to really know, unless people tell me like, oh, this is a memorable interview. And I think he had Bow Wow on it recently. I don't know what the numbers did.
Yeah, I was watching that with my mom.
Was it good?
It was all right. I mean, he asked great questions, man, and Bow gave him a full open interview. Just asking him a lot of stuff about the past and what it is to manage both a music career and a movie career at such an early age, because Bow was doing that at 14, and Bow gave him a great conversation, man. And that's what I mean. He draws in those type of talents and those type of conversations, man. So,
what? No disrespect to Bow Wow, but it'd be hard for me to listen to Bow Wow talk when he start the tough talking or whatever.
Well, at this point, you think about it, at this point, if you Bow Wow, like if you get anywhere on any of these circuits or anything and people want to interview, it's a good look for you, regardless of what you say.
Yeah.
Like, it's good for him, like to generate some kind of interest or something.
Did the clip from the clip from Club Shay was the one where he was talking about Omarion, right? Because didn't he have some commentary for that him and Omarion ain't close no more or something like that or whatever? I don't know. But anyway, like, yeah, I guess we got to stay tuned and see where this goes. Like, like I said, I don't know why the lady picked Tony Busby as her attorney. Maybe she picked Tony Busby as an attorney because he said he could get a settlement. But that's crazy to me. That's a hell of an offer to go right out the gate. Here's $10 million.
Right out the gate.
Yeah, I was gonna say $10 million out the gate. Like, she start off with $1 or $500,000.
She must have hella evidence on him or whatever.
Tape, bro.
That dude got whatever,
He said he came out implicating. If don't show 30 seconds of the tape,
show the whole tape. I'm like,
unbelievable.
$10 million to start.
Did you guys hear about this? That they're saying that I think it's a quarter of United States shoppers are paying for groceries with buy now, pay later loans. I was telling Rob earlier when I looked at this, they said that young people, and higher income borrowers were more likely to make late payments. Young people and higher income borrowers were more likely to make low payments. Now, what's crazy to me about that is that this whole buy now, pay later concept was really created for like luxury goods, designer goods, things like that. And then, it sort of shifted to now where you see other things where it could be split. You could set up with these split payments and installments and stuff like that. But have we gotten to a point as a country where we like, you gotta finance groceries in 4 easy installment payments? What do y'all think about that?
I think that's crazy, man.
Yeah, I think the price is so high. Like, what's happening is everything's going up except for the money you make. So because we're doing it, and like, I mean, obviously we know who is sitting around acting like he don't know what's going on and this is gonna work. Like, we got to fight through the pain, all types of nonsense. Yeah, you're not fighting through the pain. The people that don't have money are suffering. The people who do have money are suffering. So now right now we at the bottom level as far as we can go, where people got to finance food. Like,
Yeah.
Finance food.
designer clothes. We're not even talking about rent. We're talking about food. Like
Food,
the
bro.
basic tenets of life: food, shelter. Like
Mhm.
now we financing
Clothing.
food. That's one thing I always thought about that's kind of crazy about the United States. Other countries have huge hunger issues, with food and stuff. And you look at the United States, we throw away tons of food every day. There should
Every
never
day,
be
bro.
anybody here that's ever hungry that can't get food. But now we got to pay payday loans and pay loans for food.
Yo, I
Yeah.
seen a video. I don't know if it was in Louisiana, South Carolina, in a supermarket. In the meat section, bro, the meat is now encased in wiring mesh
Yeah, I
with
seen that.
an
Yeah, I seen that.
alarm on the
Mhm.
side of it.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Because people have been stealing food at such an alarming rate that they got an alarm on the food, man.
Yeah, you got to get somebody to open up a cage to get meat now.
We're living in dire times, and we talked about this earlier, man. Where we're gonna have to just work through some real crunch time periods, bro. Wait, inflation is going up. These tariff things, that's gonna be the word of the century. Freaking tariffs. They've always been speaking about them, but people just haven't been paying attention to them. But now they're gonna force you to pay attention to them now because how prices are going up. And the cost of living is going up, you know what I mean? But paychecks aren't, you know what I mean? People are still getting laid off.
I don't understand how anybody not in government could logically think that. Imagine you have a business, right? And I tell you, for you to sell what you said, it's going to cost 100% more. You think you're going to eat that out of your profits and costs, and you're not going to pass that on to the consumer? I mean, that's crazy to even think that was going to happen. And from what I understand, it's probably going to get worse because remember, it was like kind of embargo for X amount of days. That's about to end.
Right.
So we're going to actually have a supply and demand issue soon. So a lot they're not going to even ship here.
That's right.
I could see why the people who primarily default would be men and young people and higher income borrowers. I think the men and young people, it's the impulsivity of it. Young people make impulsive purchases, and the thought process around is probably like, I don't want to be cash poor. Like, why would I pay for all this today when I could pay
for it later? Yeah,
or easy installments. The higher income borrowers I could see also, because I feel like if you have high income, the thought process in the back of people's head all the time is like, I can make these payments. I could pay this back. Yeah, I could pay this back. But what you don't see mentioned in this is women, because women are probably a little bit more serious about their debt, and their credit.
They ain't trying to mess it up for nobody, bro.
Or the other thing is that maybe women, hear me out, maybe women primarily do a lot of the grocery shopping, and they don't find value in actually using the afterpay model to pay for groceries. Like, I feel like a lot of people credit is going to be ruined as a result of this. Like, I don't know. From this, I guess what the correlation that people are making and saying is that the cost of groceries are that high that people can't afford to buy their groceries in one shot. But that's not a sustainable model, because most people go grocery shopping. I think gone are the days where people go grocery shopping for the month or go grocery shopping every 2 weeks. Like, if you do that, kudos, you're really disciplined. For the most part, I feel like a lot of people are going out every couple of days and buying a few things and stuff like that, and refrigerating, whatever it is, doing whatever they need to do. So imagine if you're doing 4 easy installments on Wednesday, then you come back around on Saturday. All right, I need to do another 4 easy installments. And then you have this cycle ongoing where you never could possibly catch up. You created all this debt, this massive debt around these groceries, and it gets dangerous because it, like you said, Kenyatta, to feed yourself, and food is a basic necessity. So at some point you're gonna be like, yo, well, I'm willing to, do this to be able to feed myself, but
you don't want to incur late fees around eating food.
Well, the crazy thing is that they don't think of like the overall effect of this too. So think of it this way, right? The price of food that you purchase to cook is going up, but it's not going up. All these other fast food places in competition. So now it's $1 million $6 meals everywhere. It's going to go that those $6
you ain't lie, bro.
Well, think about it this way: that $6 meal is cheaper than you buying groceries now.
You ain't lie,
so
bro.
what's going to happen, and people's health and stuff going to suffer because it's easier to buy a cheap meal that's prepared and save your time than it is to go out and buy something. You just said like meat's locked up in it. You buy a steak, it's gonna cost you more than it's gonna cost for that McDonald's $6 meal.
Well, you know what I think that you know why I think that is too, that they all came down with like the $6, $5 meal stuff. Also, whatever, is because there has been a lot of messaging and information as it relates to trying to create awareness around people eating healthy. So I can see, to combat that, they could say like, all right, you talking about you want to eat healthy. The narrative is for people who don't know. Whenever you start talking about eating healthy, what do people say? Well, it costs. It costs.
It's a cost associated with eating healthy.
Yeah, so then people, a McDonald's or whoever it is, they swoop in and be like, yeah, it costs a lot to eat healthy, but I could get you this rubber burger for $5-6.
Rubber burgers, rubber nuggets, and some potatoes.
Rubber burgers
for $4 to $5. So it really is, if you think about it, it really is being able to look at like trends and see like, all right, this is where the market is going as it relates to fast food. And by the way, if you use Uber Eats, DoorDash, or any of those other things, Klarna and Afterpay, they're on there also.
Yeah.
They're on there also. Yeah. So there is this whole thing around like this buy now, take later premise. Now I'm gonna let you head up with this or whatever, like the buy now, take later. We're all old enough to remember when it was how you call it, when you had to pay it off and then you got it later in the form of layaway.
Oh yeah, layaway, 30 days.
Remember, you layaway, you had to lay it away. They ain't give it to you. You gotta in earnest.
You gotta pay on it. You gotta earn it
before you get it. Yeah.
To actually get it out. But now it's like that the instant gratification of a buy now, pay later is appealing to people. I just never thought that I would see it being used in the context of to buy like groceries from a supermarket.
But you got places like
insurance companies are like now, because if you think about it, right? Imagine what insurance is like on a business now. So you got to hedge your bet. I'm giving you whatever you need first, and now it's a good chance that you may not pay for it. So I'm gonna need to hedge this on insurance so somebody cover this so that we don't go belly up off of all these people not paying.
Well, that's Rob and I were talking about that also, and that's what I was saying. Like right now, the president is leaning to he's really making a hard push because he wants interest rates to come down. But when nobody making money, financial institutions are reluctant to lend. And if you do lend, you got to lend at a high interest rate to get your money or whatever. Like if the interest rate is low and you giving everybody money, but we heading towards a recession where people aren't going to have money, how to finance like these policies that people don't realize, these policies are really going to throw financial markets really in turmoil, like beyond just what people look at with the stock market. Like there's the whole thing. I'm saying to Rob, the whole thing around people like, well, you could, the stock market would have taken a hit. Now's a good time to buy the dip in the stock market. But if somebody financing and they need 4 installments to pay for their groceries, can you afford to buy Tesla stock?
That's in stocks, yeah.
Like how could you have a family and be like, yo, damn, I'm really struggling behind if I want to get these groceries so we can have a meal.
I should get
these
in the video.
Apple stock. What you said, Rob? Investing in video?
I'm investing in video.
I got these videos.
Come home. You know how you remember that people serve the dish and they take the thing off where you can see it like, you're like, oh, daddy, what we got? We got video stock. I got shares today.
Bitcoin.
I got 40 shares. But what we eating? Just wait.
Don't worry about it. In a couple of years,
the $7 is coming in the mail. Don't worry about it.
Yo, you be going to imagine that. Like you got to go with your family to the pantry, to the food pantry to get food, and your kids are around like, damn, dad, we hungry or whatever. Like, I spent that money on Tesla stock.
I was reading somewhere where Walmart and Target with Walmart people like the prices is about to go up where Walmart and Target aren't the convenient places. So places like Aldi's and these other sort of grocery stores are starting to pop up in certain places because although they have different products, their prices are a lot more lucrative for people to to really to buy groceries, man. And Aldi's is putting up supermarkets all over the place now because
Aldi's is a worldwide company. Like when I was out in London, Aldi's is in London all over the place.
Yeah, Germany got a company, a market here too.
I think it's called Lidl or something like that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So you say, look, you're saying about the cost of stuff going up. The cost of stuff will probably go up because these stores ain't gonna be able to import anything
No.
You know, how are they going to import anything? And then the other thing you look at it when you start talking about like how are they importing anything? If the stores can't sell anything, then what do they need the employees for? So employees begin to lose their job. Them trucking jobs and all those things, those start to get shaky because
did you say that latest
you got to be able to speak perfect English to
be a truck driver.
Be a truck driver, you know, that's part of it's an English literacy test.
Yeah, for a truck driver.
Yeah,
he should probably check in on those teachers that he getting rid of the board of education, because some of them, I watched something where somebody said, "Okay, listen to this one, y'all gonna laugh. Spell river."
Oh yes. So that with
put a D in front of river. That word doesn't exist. You mean driver? And this lady was a school teacher and said she graduated summa cum laude. She didn't know that the D in front of river was driver.
Oh my God.
But the kid that drives the truck, he has to know that.
Yeah. Jeff Bezos, man, oh man. Did y'all hear about the stuff with Jeff Bezos?
Yeah.
So initially, which I thought was a good move, and you know, I've seen other companies already start doing this. Jeff Bezos was thinking about, word had got out that Amazon was going to start showing in full transparency how much the product actually costs as a result of the import prices. But he basically got punked out by Donald Trump. Donald Trump got him on the phone, and Donald Trump's press secretary called it, what did she call it? A hostile political activity. Political activity by showing the actual goods or whatever. Like, for some reason, people already have high levels of mistrust for government. So with people already having high levels of mistrust for government, why wouldn't you want 100% transparency?
Yeah, because the optics don't look good for what he's doing. Like he wants to limit it. Like basically, he's moving like a dictator. Like he's cutting off all types of, like, cut off the media, no negative media, anything.
I don't want you to see this.
I don't want you to see this. It's not painting the story that I want to be shown.
So all right, so here's what I was thinking with this. If Jeff Bezos is like, forget it, take it away. I feel like a majority of people already would have enough intelligence based on how in the news cycle that, okay, this product went up drastically because of the cost, you know, the now tariffs. But the other part of it is like, if you were Jeff Bezos, would you go to this lane at the how you call it, the jeopardy of your business taking a hit? There may be some fool out there that'd be like, damn, Amazon prices is high as hell now. I'm not ordering nothing from Amazon. Not realizing that the reason why the prices went up drastically is because the tariffs. And that's if you think about it,
transparency of showing the cost and stuff, how it went up.
Well, isn't that the same thing that Elon Musk is being subjected to? The backlash for standing next to this dude and being affiliated and his own. And of course, Elon Musk had his own stuff that he contributed that people paying him back for. You know, so I don't know if Jeff Bezos, you know, I don't know if I would put myself in that position to be like, yo, I'm ready to mortgage my company on a strength for not allowing him to be accountable for whatever it is he's doing.
Yeah, you're gonna destroy your own personal wealth to prove him wrong. And either way, it doesn't make a difference because he's gonna double down and say it's fake news regardless. You can see it. It could present itself and it could be 100% accurate, and he's gonna deny it either way.
Anything that's unfavorable to him, it makes no sense for people to even have a counter opinion or whatever it is. Anything that's unfavorable to him, they discredit it. Right. Yeah, this they'll bring out like they what was it for Jeff Bezos? I think the press secretary, here's something Chinese propaganda. He was down with the communists or whatever. I'm like, damn.
Look at that the what is it the 100 days opinion poll or something where it's the lowest ever and it's fake news and that's not right and it's inaccurate. Like, listen, man. Like, and there's zero accountability. So it's one of those things where
I want to see every cost charge. I want to see everything. Put it on my receipt. I want to see tariff charges, custom charges.
He can't do it to Canada. I could tell you right now, if you go to certain companies and you order something, because I've seen it happen. You order something from Canada on the site, it will say that the price has changed due to X.
I mean, Amazon's competitors. I'm about to say Amazon's competitors are doing Temu and Shein are doing it. They're doing that. And that's transparency. At least it gives you the opportunity to say, should I buy it? Should I not?
You know what it is?
You know what? They're not looking at it as the opportunity to say, should I buy it? They're looking at the opportunities like, we don't want to be affiliated with this shit. This is something that, he put this on there. This ain't the price. He put this on there.
You know what it is too with Jeff Bezos? A huge part of his business, and people don't even realize it, is not even consumer goods. It's Amazon Cloud Services and Elastic Cloud Storage. So Amazon stores a lot of data for, like, Netflix is on there, Hulu's on there, all that stuff stored there. You may have all types of government contracts and stuff that they stand to lose, because that's kind of how they doing stuff. Like, if you have any type of government contracts or anything as such, they will cancel the contracts if you say anything against them.
Yeah. That's really unfortunate. That's really unfortunate, and it's scary.
It is, bro. You gotta say to yourself, man, where are we? What type of lives are we living, man? Things is changing very fast, and we need to learn how to navigate and adapt to these things, man.
Yeah, I guess I don't. If Jeff Bezos wanna go along with it, and allow Amazon to be ran into the ground, or it's not that important to him, that's up to him. But I feel like a lot of people probably realize, like, the cost associated with stuff has increased drastically.
Absolutely.
As a result of the tariffs. No, this whole thing about eggs is down and gas is down and this, that. It's just like magically.
Those are magic words. When people hear stuff like that, they think, "Oh, word! No, I can go somewhere." Eggs is back to regular price. That's gas talk, man. And eggs go down, but then sugar's up.
Sugar's up. Yeah. I think a gallon of milk costs more than a gallon of gas.
Yeah, bro. Like,
well, the tariff stuff is gonna have impacts across other industries that people probably aren't thinking about. Like, we only talking about like imports from like Amazon, Shein, and Temu and stuff like that. But other things too is gonna impact, like avocados and fruits and lumber and like all these other things are gonna be impacted by it also.
I know the liquor companies are hurting. You see what Canada did, right? Canada took all American liquor off the shelves.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. No spirits for them.
Out of the bars and everything.
Well, I mean, how you call it? What he said is it's a short-term pain for the long-term gain, and I call it, maybe people may get a $5,000 check or something. He said.
Yeah, $5,000 check. I heard that they're trying to get in New York. Something about it. You heard about the
New York is getting a check that they
inflation check,
$400 or something, right?
$400 inflation check.
Imagine if your retirement had millions of dollars in it, and then when it's all said and done, you get a $5,000 check.
Inflation check. Here you go. Sorry, here's an inflation check. You hold on to this. Sorry for losing all your money, but hopefully it's $400. That should get you about a week worth of groceries.
Right.
So you should be good.
We can just some eggs and some sugar.
$5,000 a week worth of groceries.
Get you some eggs. Get that guy to open a steak cage out.
Yo, the deflection is so crazy. I think when the stuff with Bezos came out, the press secretary was out. How come he didn't post? How come they didn't put a thing next to it that said Biden's inflation? That's the way these people are crazy.
Why is this guy still talking about
it's
Biden?
A word game.
Like, come on, dude. Like, you talking about everything. So he got into the I think it was it the Channel 7 dude that he got in an argument over the approval ratings and stuff?
Yeah.
Somebody said when it looked like it was thriving, it was your economy, and now that it looks like it's belly up, it's Biden's economy. Which one is it?
It's easy, what it is. Whatever he say it is, and people better get in line and go along with it.
That's right. You better listen. But
I'm gonna say this. This is why the point I was about to get to. That's really, really scary to me. This, I kid you not. This is extremely scary to me, and I want y'all to think about this. Technically, in theory, Donald Trump is a lame duck president, right? So he could do whatever it is that he wants without any real consequence, because he ain't running for nothing after this, right?
Yeah.
Why does he care about his approval ratings?
Yeah, hell no, you
Yeah,
worry about no
because he's
approval.
trying to change the laws. I
They
seen
got
some
an
shirt
agenda.
that Donald Trump. I seen some Donald Trump 2028 or some crazy.
There you
stuff.
go. That's it right there. For that reason, that's why he's concerned about his approval
Yeah,
ratings and
he
public
already
opinion.
put in some kind of petition, supposedly in Utah or something, to try to for term
Get
limits
back
or
on the,
something.
get back, yeah, probably get back on the ballot. But that's what it is. That's 100% what it is right there. A lame duck president is not overly concerned about those approval ratings, because at the end of the day, it's like, I'm not trying to win favor or popularity with anybody. I'm just putting the policies into place that I think is going to be beneficial, or that I think, going to help the country, or help,
Yeah,
how you call it, the rich people I'm in bed with, or whatever it's that. But he got his eye on approval ratings also. Part of it, though, honestly, could be somewhat like with his narcissism about wanting the public to think that he's doing a great job and wanting public approval and validation. Some of it could honestly be that. But I honestly believe the reason why he's doing it is because he's setting up and laying a foundation to spin the block and come back and run again.
I think so too. I think he's going to try. I mean, I think realistically, unless people fight, remember, look at the stuff he's doing. He's trying to decertify voters and all types of stuff. So even if they control the Senate, it's going to be key what happens in these midterm elections with the Senate and the Congress and stuff. Right. Because if they take control and they hold it, he may get that term. If they lose that, there's no way he's getting that term.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you know what? He might as well, forget about decertifying. He already didn't demoralize most of the country.
I got one better for you. What he can claim, because he can claim, if it goes into a recession, right? He can actually claim that he has to leave, not leave because it destabilizes the country. So if it's like, if we're like, say we're like in war or some kind of
crisis. War, I remember they were saying that they believed that was a play that George Bush Jr. was going to try to use at one point. But George Bush Jr. actually did run on his second term with like, let me finish what I started with the war stuff. Now I want y'all to think, like, in comparison, back then people was heavy on George Bush Jr. Terrible, he this, he that, whatever.
You would love to have him right now.
You looking back right now, like, damn, you want a third term?
Yeah, you sure you don't want to run again?
It's just, I'm
love to have George Bush Jr. right now.
Yo, this is the last thing I'm gonna say in relation to this. You know what I be dying on when I look online and I see the slides, like they post whatever the story is about him, and then they go to the last slide and you see the people playing the Congo, like, I will vote for Donald Trump. Yo, every time I see that, I'll be done. Like, oh man. Yo, it's a lot of people with buyer's. It's a lot of people with public buyer's remorse, but I bet you it's a lot of people behind closed doors with buyer's remorse. It's a lot of them Republican dudes that's probably fearful to say anything. That's like, yo, my 401k, my investments, everything.
Yeah.
Corporations
didn't expect this. They didn't expect him to go out and start managing all corporations and telling them what they could do and what they can't do. Colleges didn't think this. Like, listen, you got a diversity inclusion thing anyway. I'm stripping away funding and removing contracts. I don't think nobody that was going to happen.
So this is a play that a lot of people ain't peep either, because you see, like, they announced something like some HBCU initiative that he had that he's supposed to be doing. But I'm like, don't HBCUs teach critical race theory? And he already said that he ain't provide no funding to anybody.
No funding for that.
Critical race theory?
Yeah, he's not providing any funding. He's stripping that away.
But who was it? Was it Columbia? Not Columbia. Who was it that refused? Harvard. Was it Harvard? Which Harvard they not going for it. They ain't backpedaling away from him.
Yeah,
it was Harvard. Yeah,
Columbia folded up.
All them Harvard attorneys is probably ready for this. This is the moment they've been waiting for.
University of Harvard versus the United States government
against Trump. That's what it is.
Trump. Donald Trump then got so many law firms, like how you call it, on speed dialers down with him or whatever, because he was threatening, all kind of crazy lawsuits and everything.
Well, you see that one of the judges he appointed went against him, so he's in trouble. That deportation thing, Jews said that what he did was unethical. And now they're calling down, they're rolling back. I think the worst thing I seen on this whole thing was when they took the dude that they sent accidentally, and then Donald Trump showed a picture of those superimposed MS-13s on his fingers. I'm like, this is crazy.
Well, I mean,
here we are, bro.
Yeah, nah, it's
The world we living in. It's
scary
crazy.
times. Like, yeah, we up here talking about this buy now, pay later stuff. Shoot, I hope I don't find myself going on over to Stop and Shop trying to get me something to eat and be
Going
like,
to
yo,
Aldi's, yeah,
You gotta get the bell for the guy to come open the cage.
bro.
4 installment, yo, 4 easy payments for me to get this chicken and rice and broccoli.
Get the stick, right?
And lay it away.
Steak
Lay
and
away
eggs.
some chicken, rice, and broccoli.
Damn, scary.
Here we are.
Anyway, final words in closing.
Don't spend no money. Save all your money.
Don't buy this.
spend no money.
So we shouldn't buy the dip.
Don't buy the dip right now.
Don't buy
Chill
the
out
dip.
for a minute, man.
I want to get the chips.
What about for you?
Brace
Kenyatta?
yourself. Just brace yourself out here, man.
I mean, well, I gotta go with the same, similar with Rob's. Like, you know how people say the worst is yet to come or something? Believe me, we ain't hit rock bottom yet. We haven't hit the bottom yet.
This is the first 100 days, bro. This is just the first 100 days.
But here's the thing. I will tell you this. People who've been in these situations who haven't had will be less affected than people who had. Because you don't hurt when you don't lose.
You ain't never had nothing. Yeah, you ain't never had nothing. So what you losing?
What you losing. So I think a lot of times, like the people that people are trying to appeal to, they don't really feel it. You can't go to a guy that never had nothing and be like, how's this affecting you? Because it's not.
Nothing changed.
Nothing changed.
Yeah, I've been broke.
And those are the people you see that we trying to get to go to the polls. Oh, you got to go to the polls. See what's happening to you? No, nothing's happening to me. So you got to be mindful of that.
Or you know what could be happening? $1,200.
Yeah, $1,200, $400, $600 coming. That $5,000 come, he can get a 6th term.
12. I'm gonna say
that 2050, bro.
I think if you're a person that's really, really in need and you get the $1,200, like I don't see anything wrong with that. I think that's a great thing. If it was me and I got the $1,200 and it was transformative for my life, I don't know if I still probably wouldn't vote for him, but I would probably do like self-reflection as to why I'm in a position in life that $1,200
must be
transformative. And I'm not saying that to say that $1,200 isn't a lot of money. $1,200 is a lot of money, but if $1,200 can change my life that drastically, then I got a lot of other things going on in life that I have to work on, because that's not $1,200 is not retirement money, and probably like in some of these cities, you probably couldn't even rent a place to live.
You couldn't get a studio apartment in the worst neighborhood in New York for $1,200.
So that and in that respect, like like I said, like I could see somebody being thankful and appreciative. But a smart man or woman would be thankful and appreciative, but also would say, all right, what do I have to do to get from a position in life where
you want to change these
$1,200 is not, gonna make or break me. And that's scary because they also, I saw something recently where they said that if you got $5,000, I think it was $5,000 or $5,000 or $10,000 in the bank, that you how you call it, I think you richer than half of the people in the country.
Wow.
Yeah,
$5,000 in the bank or something like that. So
look at that.
Yeah, that should give you an indication of where we're at as a country, And now with these other policies in place, people really it's about to be really, really, rough times. Like I fully anticipate that crime will probably go up.
They're putting alarms on steaks, bro.
Yeah. I knew it was real. This wasn't even in the US, but the alarm phenomenon is crazy. When I think I was in Africa and they had an alarm on a bottle of Hennessy. In Africa, I was like, damn, people like Henny like that in Africa too.
They're stealing, bro. And they love to drink in Africa. They love drinking.
Who knew it? Pastor Cavassier. Anyway, I appreciate everybody tuning in.
Peace,
have a great night. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace.
All right.